important of the day for Hiroshima. And then, so normally we have the statement, peace declaration, but the mayor of Hiroshima, so that's already always read by the Hiroshima Kai of New York. And I introduce Mr. Furumoto. Could you come here? And Mr. Park Furumoto, he has been the honorable chair of the New York Hiroshima Kai, and he will be reading the mayor of Hiroshima, Mr. Matsui's, Mayor Matsui's message. Thank you.
Good evening. As Reverend Nakagaki said, we have been reading Peace Declaration for past 28 years. This is our 29th year. Peace Declaration, August 6, 2022. I adore my mother. She raised me with such a kindness and care. The women speaking to us 16 when she left home, carrying the lunch her mother had lovingly prepared. She never imagined it would be their final parting. Summer, 77 years ago. That morning, without warning, the first nuclear weapon was dropped and detonated over humanity. Standing near Hiroshima Station, the girl saw a terrifying flash. Then came a thunderous roar, striking from behind. The blast blew her through the air and knocked her unconscious. When she came to, she wandered through the smoldering city, searching for her mother. She saw a horrifying number of blackened bodies. One charred corpse still stood, clinging to the neck of a cow. Bodies floating in the river drifted up and down with the tide. She still remembers the morning when every day life vanished violently into scenes from hell. In invading Ukraine, the Russian leader, elected to protect the lives and property of his people, is using them as an instrument of war, stealing the lives and livelihood of innocent civilians in another country. Around the world, the notion that peace depends on nuclear deterrence gains momentum. These errors betray humanity's determination, born of our experience of war, to achieve a peaceful world free from nuclear weapons. To accept the status quo and abandon the ideal of peace maintained without military force is to the very survival of the human race. We must stop repeating these mistakes. Above all, entrusting a nuclear button to any world leader is to sanction continued nuclear threat, to render all nuclear buttons meaningless. Must we keep tolerating self-centeredness that threatens others, even to the point of denying their existence? We should take to heart the words of Leo Tolstoy, the renowned Russian author of War and Peace, who advised, never build your happiness on the misfortune of others, for only in their happiness can you find your own. Earlier this year, the 5 nuclear weapons states issued a joint statement. Nuclear war cannot be won, must never be fought. They further declare their intent to remain committed to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty obligations. Having issued such a statement, why do they attempt to fulfill their promises? Why do some even hint at using nuclear weapons? The nuclear powers must act now to build bridges of trust among nations rather than treating a world without nuclear weapons like a distant dream. They should be taking concrete steps toward its realization. I call on the leaders of nuclear weapons states using nuclear weapons and strengthen their will to take these steps. I want them to understand the only sure way to protect the lives and property of their people is to eliminate nuclear weapons. I fervently hope the leaders who attend the G7 summit in Hiroshima next year will reach this conclusion. With the Hibakusha's will to peace at our core and inheriting the never-give-up spirit of Hibakusha leader Tsuboi Sunao, who dedicated his life to the cause, Hiroshima will continue striving toward nuclear weapon abolition, however arduous the path. The average age of Hibakusha now exceeds 84, and their lives are still impaired by radiation's adverse effect on their minds and bodies. Thus, I further demand that the Japanese government empathize with the suffering to better offer them enhanced support measures. Today, at this peace memorial ceremony commemorating 77 years since the bombing, we offer heartfelt condolences to the soul of atomic bomb victims. Together with Nagasaki and like-minded people around the world, we pledge to do everything in our power to abolish nuclear weapons and to light the way toward lasting world peace. Matsui Kazumi, Mayor, the city of Hiroshima. Thank you. Now, on behalf of Hiroshima Kai of New York, I'd like to say a few words. Since 1994, we have been advocating non-proliferation of nuclear weapons and propagating peace around the world. We have been doing this by moving one pebble at a time here in New York City. I firmly believe that this one pebble that we move throughout the world will someday realize peace on this earth without the nuclear weapons. Seeing the aftermath of atomic bomb and living in Hiroshima from January 1946 to May 1956, and facing the actual combat war in Vietnam from February to 1970 to 1971, and serving this country, I understand the cruelty of war and how priceless the peace is. Like the Hibakusha, we will continue to propagate peace and seek non-proliferation of nuclear weapons. It is especially important to commemorate this day, August 6th in Hiroshima, a symbol of world peace. We hope and pray that both Ukraine and Russia is watching us so that the peace settlement can be achieved without further devastation. We'd like to thank Reverend Nagasaki and his Heiwa Foundation, an interfaith religious group who had tirelessly held this event since 1994 to commemorate Hiroshima Nagasaki Peace Memorial, and the participants who had gathered tonight to commemorate this event. Thank you very much.
Together for 29 years. This is the first year after his wife couldn't make it together. So